My name is Khalid Taimur Akram, and I would like to welcome you again with the program Eurasian Perspective. Today, we have the honor of hosting the ambassador of Tajikistan, Mr. Ismatullo Nasredin. Sir, welcome to our show. Uh, uh, Tajikistan is a long-standing friend of Pakistan, and Pakistan-Tajikistan friendship spans over last 30 years. We have seen the Tajik president visiting Pakistan number of times, and Tajikistan has always been standing with Pakistan, whether it be United Nations or any other regional platform. So today we would be talking to the Tajik ambassador, and we would be asking him about the contours of our friendship, about Tajikistan, about tourism in Tajikistan, and what opportunities the youth can have in Tajikistan. So, Mr. Ambassador, first of all, kindly tell us about Tajikistan, about how are the people of Tajikistan, what language people speak over there, and what are the historical linkages between the Pakistani people and Tajik people.
Thank you. First of all, Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. Thanks for this opportunity to be with Radio Pakistan today and to share views of our relations in different aspects. Thanks for your question. Of course, first of all, geographically our countries are very close. If you look at the map, you will see how we are located very close to each other. Even that in our country the main language is Persian, but it's very close to Urdu as well, because as we know, Urdu consists of some other languages, and for us it's a very, very close language. Not 100%, but some of Urdu is very clear and understandable for us, and I am happy to be here with you today.
Ambassador, while talking about the language and while talking about the cultural and historical connectivity, I have seen in Tajikistan that Allama Iqbal is very famous, our national poet. So what can you tell us about that how come Allama Iqbal, our national poet, is so famous in Tajikistan?
Yes, as we all know, the part of poetry of Allama Iqbal is written in Persian, and of course for us it's very clear, we can understand it. It's a very deep philosophy. In our national university we have a center for Iqbal studies, and every year there is a kind of festival of people who are learned and who are studying Iqbal poetry and Iqbal heritage, and one day I hope we will be able to do it here in Pakistan as well.
Yeah, very nice. Ambassador, please tell us about the friendship between Pakistan and Tajikistan. What I have seen that in last couple of years, Tajik ambassador and our Prime Minister, Tajik President and our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif had many meetings, and Tajik Ambassador, Tajik President very recently visited Pakistan. What can you tell us about the visit of the Tajik President to Pakistan?
Yes, first of all, I would like to mention that Pakistan among the first countries who recognized our independence 30 years ago. And during these 3 decades, of course, we have established a very close relations in different areas and different directions. As you rightly mentioned, our president many times visited Pakistan, and his last visit was December last year. He conducted a very fruitful meetings with Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, with other colleagues, with the Chairman of Senate, and those visits, and especially the last visit, resulted of signing of a package of 8 documents, mostly on economic related issues, and we hope that after implementation of those agreements we will have more close ties between the 2 countries.
We have recently seen, I remember a few months back, you were in Peshawar, and the first consignment of the Tajik goods which came by road from Tajikistan via Afghanistan to Pakistan. So has the land route started between Pakistan and Tajikistan?
Yes, the land route is there, but of course with the current situation in our neighboring countries there are difficulties. But nevertheless, our government and our president personally, he provided this big amount of humanitarian support to flood affected people in Pakistan, since we are a brotherly country and we could not just sitting and waiting what's happening here. And but it was an evidence that route transits or roads are available. But of course, as I mentioned, there are difficulties, we have to work on it. And of course, in this regard, we need a very, valuable support of Pakistan, how to manage and how to make it easier for business people and for people who are making trade between the two countries.
Talking about trade, as we know that the currency of Tajikistan is very, very strong, and Tajikistan not only imports but exports lots of things. And the big project between Pakistan and Tajikistan is CASA 1000, which is the electricity project. And as we know that Tajikistan produces lots of hydroelectric power. So what can you tell us about the energy cooperation between Pakistan and Tajikistan?
Yes, you rightly mentioned this CASA 1000 project, which consists of 4 countries, starting from Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, and ending in Pakistan. It's a very important project in comparison with other regional projects. This is a good evidence that we already have done a lot. For example, the Tajikistan part, as it was mentioned by our president during his visit to Islamabad last year, in coming 6 months, Tajikistan will complete his part of CASA 1000 project. Even in Afghanistan, with current situation, more than 70% of work is done. So we have to work on it, and of course now we are looking for support, for continuing support of World Bank, because this project is designed under the umbrella of this international financial institution, and we hope that soon the project can be resumed and the mechanism of financing the Afghan part will be fine, but we have to work together towards this project.
Yeah, Ambassador, talking about Kazakhstan's efforts and Tajikistan's efforts in international community, I was reading that the Tajik president has initiated lots of water-related projects in United Nations, and what I know is that in last 20 years, it is the second time that Tajikistan has proposed a 10-year plan, and now on 22nd and 23rd of March there will be a big conference in United Nations co-hosted by Tajikistan. What can you tell about us, the audience, about the water initiative of the Tajik president?
Yes, our country, we consider ourselves as a leading country within the United Nations family in water initiatives and in water issues. By initiative of our president, this is already the fourth initiative which is supported by General Assembly of United Nations, and as you mentioned, our last initiative is the Decade for Water for Sustainable Development, which is 2018-2028, and in order to make a midterm review of what is done in the framework of this decade, next week we're expecting the very big conference, as you mentioned, in New York, with participation of high-level delegation, including Pakistan. And this event will be chaired by our President, His Excellency Mr. Emali Rahman, and by His Majesty the King of the Netherlands. So 2 leaders will chair this meeting, and it's expected that the most important and difficult problems of water will be discussed during this event. And this is the event after the 50 years. In 1977, the same conference was organized. And can you imagine that for more than 5 decades, we didn't have such kind of platform to discuss?
Yeah. As Pakistan, we really appreciate these kinds of conferences, and as you said that Pakistan is equally a partner with your country in the water initiative. So as we talk about the water conference, we have seen that Tajikistan has done a lot of work in water governance in your own country. You have established a water management system, you have established a water governance system. So what can you tell us about the water management system in your country?
Yes, first of all, I would like to mention that 60% of all volume of water which is available in Central Asia accumulates in territory of Tajikistan. So we are upstream country, and all this water accumulates in our territory, and of course it's an advantage, but there are also relevant problems, as you mentioned, because water cannot be used just as a nature gift. We have to manage, we have to keep water, we have to supply water to downstream countries, and all those measures are taken now in order to make the risks to the minimum. Otherwise, as any mountainous country, even as a Pakistan, we are flood-affected country, and we are faced a lot of problems and difficulties with water management. But for the last 2-3 decades, we try to manage, of course, with support of international community, with support of our other partners, United Nations. So we are doing a lot.
As you have said rightly that Tajikistan accumulates the 60% water for the Central Asia, and we have seen that few years back, probably it was in 2020 or 2021, that one of the biggest dams of the Central Asia was inaugurated in Tajikistan. So what can you tell us about that water reservoir and big dam which was inaugurated in Tajikistan?
Yeah. This is a very big project which was started many years ago, even during the Soviet Union time. And this project actually was designed in order to accumulate as many as possible water in order to irrigate the downstream countries. At that time, it was designed mostly to accumulate water. But today, since we need energy to develop our industry and to develop our economy, we are continuing this project. The dam will be height of 335 meters, which is the highest of such kind of dam. And 2 turbines already in use. So we managed to start working of 2 turbines, 2 generators. Work is going on. Of course, it's a huge project which consists of billions of US dollars. And according to our estimation, in coming 5-10 days, the project should be finished. But of course, it depends on many factors. And it will be for the benefit not only for Tajikistan, but also again for downstream countries, because we are providing water for countries which have more land than Tajikistan.
Sir, as you have seen, we have seen that Tajikistan has been playing a very major role not only in Central Asia but in OIC and other UN and various other international platforms, in Shanghai Cooperation Organization also. And Tajikistan has been playing a very positive role for controlling the Afghan situation also. So what can you tell us about the Tajikistan's foreign policy vis-a-vis Shanghai Cooperation Organization and international organizations?
Yeah. Yes, Tajikistan from the very first day of its independence tried to be an active player in international affairs and to be a member of this international family. And with this regard, we have joined almost all regional organizations, of course, United Nations, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Economic Cooperation Organization, and all others. And with regard to our foreign policy, we have stated, and our president promoting the open door foreign policy. So we are open for any country, we are open for any kind of cooperation. We are not in any ally against any other countries. We would like to have our peaceful life and of course to establish the most favorable conditions and relations with our neighbors.
Ambassador, since I have been visiting Dushanbe and Tajikistan number of times, so one thing I have observed in Tajikistan that it is one country where you have lot of local industry, because you discourage imports and you encourage the local industry. So in the process in last 30 years, now your local industry is quite strong. So you make your own cars, you make your own clothes and everything. So how strong is now the Tajik local industry, and are you exporting to various other countries? So what can you tell us about that?
Yes, in previous, Tajikistan was considered as an agrarian country. But now the intention of our government is to convert Tajikistan to industrial country, not only to produce raw materials, not only to produce fresh fruits or vegetables, but also to have an opportunity to produce something else from those products. In this regard, now we have our government policy in order to industrialize our economy. With this regard, of course, now we are producing, as you mentioned, many of items for our internal market and also for our export. I will give you only one example. 10 years ago, we had imported about 90% of our cement. Today, Tajikistan is cement exporting country.
Very nice.
So we are producing more than 4 million tons per year, and our internal consumption is up to 2 million. So 2 million we can export, and we do it to our neighboring countries today.
Very nice. And since Pakistan and Tajikistan are not only neighboring countries but are very good friends also, and there are a lot of Pakistani business community people who would like to go to Tajikistan and do business over there. So, what can you tell us about the ease of business in Tajikistan for the foreigners? Is it easy, difficult? Where do we can grade Tajikistan for the foreign nationals to do business?
Yeah, during all my meetings in different chamber of commerces in Pakistan, in different cities, and with private businessmen, with representative of relevant government bodies of Pakistan. Of course, we are promoting business. I will give a figure that our trade turnover yearly is very, very low. According to capacity which we have, it's almost nothing. And in our statistics, of course, you can see that in compare with our country, with other countries, it's a very low. Of course, we are creating a favorable condition for business people who are coming to Tajikistan. As in any country, there are some procedures, there are maybe some bureaucratic issues to be sorted out. But generally, it's not difficult, it's very easy. We're encouraging people, we're here as an embassy to encourage people to go there. If any businessman would like to do any kind of business or will need any information, we are ready to support.
Since the FM channel is very famous among the youth in Pakistan, and I would like to ask you one thing that about the education system of Tajikistan. What kind of opportunities the Tajik universities offer can offer to the Pakistani students in terms of, do you have a good medical colleges or engineering colleges or social sciences colleges?
Yes, in many of our universities, first of all, we have an English groups, let's say international groups. So even if any student or any young person would like to apply to university, of course, we have Tajik language as a state language, but there is an opportunity to join university to this international group and to have this English as a main language. As you mentioned, our medical university is very popular. Nowadays we have around 200 to 300 Pakistani citizens and young people who are studying in our medical university. There are Pakistan companies who are organizing this kind of trips, and they are providing opportunities, they are arranging air tickets, accommodation, and supporting young people from Pakistan to join our universities.
So since now we are talking about Tajikistan and the ambassador of Tajikistan is with us, so let us ask him that what are the tourism opportunities in Tajikistan, and what is the best time to go for tourism, and what places, if somebody has to go for tourism, what places they should be going?
Yeah. Actually, the climate of Tajikistan has 4 full seasons.
Oh, it's like Pakistan.
Yeah, yes, of course, and it depends of interest of any person who is going to our country. If you would like to have snow, of course winter is the best time. If you would like to have a very dry and good summer evenings, so you should go in middle of July. If you would like to have a blossoming period, now is the right time to go there till the middle of May. It will be a very pleasant weather. So it depends on interest of tourists who are going to our country, climbing, some food tourism, religious tourism, whatever they would like. So all opportunities are there. They can contact either our embassy for more information, or they can visit appropriate websites to get more information.
So, Ambassador, what is the national sport of Tajikistan? What kind of, do you play football? What kind of games you play, and what is the national sport?
I think football is the most popular. Soccer or football, what we call it. But from the national point of view, this is a kind of fighting. we call it Gushtingiri, which is a very, very old kind of sport in our country. But of course, as we are a part of international societies, of football is the most popular.
Yeah, very nice. So, while talking about historical linkages and history, so what is the history of Tajik people? What is the history? From where did they came? Were they in this area since the start? What can you tell about the historical bloodlines of the Tajik people?
Yes, the first Tajik statehood was created actually around 10 centuries ago. So it was created by Ismail Somoni, who is a creator of Tajik statehood. At that time, of course, Tajikistan or Tajik state to Tajik state consists of big territories. And of course, then during the changes in history of all of our region, now we have what we have. But historically and culturally, first of all, you all know that Tajik language was very popular, and even most of documentation, literature, and other kind of written communication that many years ago it was done in Farsi and in Tajik. And of course the influence of our language even in Pakistan is very
Yes, we have seen that. We have seen that because once we hear Tajik language or Tajik songs, we can hear many similar things. So once we are talking about tourism in Tajikistan, we are talking about language of Tajikistan. So we will take the opportunity that the ambassador is with us. So while talking about the policies of Tajikistan, about Tajikistan, I would like to show the audience and mention about one book. This is written Tajik Tarikh ke Aine mein, the history of Tajikistan. It is written by His Excellency Imam Ali Rahmanov, who is the president of Tajikistan. And this book was translated in Pakistan, and this book was published in Pakistan by the University of the Punjab, and now this book is being also taught to the history students also, because this is a very historical book which has been written by the president of Tajikistan. Sir, what can you tell us about this book, and what was the spirit behind the book, and why this book is translated in so many languages?
Yeah. Yes, this book actually was, as you mentioned, the private idea of our president in order to provide not only our own people with our historical details and with history of Tajikistan, because as you know, in all countries, especially young people, they are not interested too much in history. They
Yes.
just know something about current affairs. And when our president started, working on this book, of course, he gathered many historians, scientists, people who have more knowledge about history. And he collected from all of them very important information and to put it to this book. The idea of translating also to provide people in different languages to make knowledge about history, not only of Tajikistan, but this is history actually of the all Central Asia, and even Pakistan part is there.
Yes, I have read this
You-
book.
you know it,
Yeah,
yes.
I know it. In this book, he has mentioned about Pakistan, his visits to Pakistan. Actually, what I have been seeing and I have been reading that His Excellency Imam Ali Rahmanov is quite fond of Pakistan. So, what can you tell us about his liking and his fondness for Pakistan? Because he is one of the those Central Asian countries, head of the states, that who have been visiting Pakistan very regularly.
Yeah. Yes, his first visit was organized and was conducted even back to 1994.
Oh,
It was just after 3 years of our independence. So we were a very young country, and we had a lot of even internal problems. As you know, we suffered from our internal conflict of our civil war. It was a very difficult time for us. And by the way, one round of talks between Tajik government and our, at that time, former opposition was conducted here in Islamabad.
okay.
So Pakistan was among those countries who helped us to bring peace to our country. In this regard, our president is very grateful to government of Pakistan, to people of Pakistan for hosting at that time this very important meeting. And since that time, he has a very special attitude towards your country.
While we are talking about Tajikistan and people of Tajikistan, and we are talking about our friendship and other things, so if you have to suggest to the Pakistani traders and Pakistani people what kind of goods they should be taking to Tajikistan for selling, like for example medical items or surgical items, what will be, as ambassador, what is going to be your suggestion for the Pakistani traders?
Yeah. First of all, we are very interested in many of technologies which are available in Pakistan. I think number first, which I would like to mention, is textile. because the textile industry in Pakistan is very developed. We have raw material, we have cotton, we have other raw materials, and Pakistan textile is very famous, by the way, in our country. You can find it in all markets and shops. Of course, you mentioned this is a surgical products and instruments which are produced here in Pakistan, also of very good quality. And also we need pharmaceutical, because we have many of herbs which can be used to produce some medicine, and Pakistan technologies are needed. In this regard, I recommend to all our partners here, first of all, they should visit Tajikistan to see what's happening there, to find their partners. As I mentioned, we're here to support, to help with any kind of issues. Please come to us, contact us, and we will try to facilitate your visits.
Ambassador, as we know that for any kind of connectivity for traveling, air travel is must these days. So what I've heard that the Tajik airline is trying to start flights from Pakistan, and the air distance, I suppose, is very, very less between Islamabad and Dushanbe. I think it's around less than 2 hours.
Yes, it's 1 hour 20 minutes. So you see how we are close.
Yes.
Yes, we are working on it. Our national airline, Somon Air, is in contact with some local companies in order to start their flights. Before the visit of our president, before the arrival of president, one technical flight already was done, and their aircraft landed in Islamabad. It was welcomed by Aviation Authority of Pakistan, and we were very happy to see our airplane here. And I hope that in very, very near future we will be able to use these regular flights connecting two capitals.
Very nice, and hopefully we can go to Dushanbe in just 1 hour and 20 minutes, and now it takes almost 24 hours to reach Dushanbe, because it is through some third country we have to go. So while talking about Tajikistan, so let's talk about the fruits in Tajikistan, because Tajikistan is one country where you have got a variety of fruits, and you export fruits also, fruits and vegetables. So what is the national fruit of Tajikistan, and what fruits can come from Tajikistan to Pakistan?
Except citruses, of course we don't have oranges, bananas, mandarin, but we have a very good lemon, which is it's a different type of lemon with a very, thin skin. It's not like European lemons. When you see it, it's very hard. But in terms of other fruit, of course, grapes, apples, pears, and all other fruits are available. In Pakistan, I can see that Tajikistan grapes are very popular.
Yes.
And even with current transportation difficulties, people are importing them from Tajikistan, and they are available here in markets.
How about dry fruits, nuts and those things? Because once I was there in Tajikistan, I saw that Tajikistan nuts and other dry fruit are also very famous.
Yes, dry fruits are also available. Even that in Pakistan also is rich with dry fruits. But I think the most popular dry fruit is our raisins.
Okay.
From this black seedless raisin. Sometimes even I am surprised how raisin can be such a big. Can you imagine how grape is big?
Yes. Yeah, the Tajik grape I have been eating, it's quite big size and very delicious. So, Ambassador, what would you like to tell us about the cultural things in Tajikistan? I'm sure that your dresses, the cultural events, because you are also Islamic country, most of them are same, like you have Eid and Ramadan and all those things. But other than that, what kind of cultural activities are there in Tajikistan?
I would like to mention the very recent one. Next week we will start celebrating Nowruz.
Yeah.
Nowruz means the new day. It's a very famous celebration in all Central Asia, in Azerbaijan, in Iran, in part of Iraq, and also in part of Pakistan as well.
Yes.
It's a very popular celebration, and if you will be able to go to Tajikistan next week, you see how people celebrate. And this is, by the way, the longest holiday. So this year people will have holiday of 8 days.
8 days holiday.
Yes.
Very long
They will
holiday.
be celebrating 8 days.
So, Ambassador, tell us about the music industry and about the film industry of Tajikistan, because just before the interview You were telling me that before Tajikistan got independence, you probably had 10 singers, but now you have 10,000 singers. So, what is the scale of the music industry and drama industry and arts industry?
Yeah, I think since now we are an independent country, so especially for young people, there are more opportunities to show their talents, to show their capacity as a singer or as an art or whatever they can provide. And of course, today we have many of them. As we discussed it with you many times, our music is quite close to music in region of Central Asia.
Yes.
In terms of even musical instruments, in terms of melodies, in terms of other kind of arts. With regard to dresses, yes, our dresses also is especially for ladies. Men dress maybe more Western type, but ladies are still using
Traditional old dresses.
Traditional old dresses, yes.
Very nice. So, Ambassador, we're talking about girls and ladies. So, what kind of opportunities does the girls have in Tajikistan? What kind of are they doing businesses, and are they doing their independent, other than the music and other thing? What kind of businesses are they involved in?
Yeah. Yes, of course. We are trying to attract more women, more females to our society, to our everyday life. Some years ago, we even adopted a special law on the role of women in society. According to this, for example, a certain number of government posts should be occupied only by female.
Very nice.
In order to keep this balance between opportunities for male and female. I will give you one figure. Around 3,000 NGOs, non-governmental organizations, registered in Tajikistan, and 80% of them are created by ladies. So they are very
active.
Yes,
Very
in
active.
social and everyday life.
So, since you have said that the number of opportunities for women, lot of opportunities for youth, how do you see that in next year? Where do you see Tajikistan going in next 10 years? As you are saying that Tajikistan is shifting from the agriculture economy to the industrial economy. So, in next 10 years, where do you see Tajikistan on the regional map and on the world map?
I think first of all our focus is our economic relations and our economic role in this region. As I mentioned, we don't have any kind of regional ambitions or any kind of serious problems with our neighbors. We are keeping a very good relations. And of course, economic development and economic prosperity of our country. This is our main focus. And in coming 10 years, I hope that I will be seeing our country out of poverty, out of jobless, and to provide more opportunities for people.
So Tajikistan, as we know of Tajikistan, that it's a landlocked countries, and most of your trade is through how your trade happens, because you are a landlocked country, the double landlocked country. So what are the trade routes? What is how do you do trade with other countries?
Yes, since the Pakistan seaports are closest to us, so this is one of the main routes, even with current difficulties in neighboring countries. But we actively and intensively use the port of Karachi, and of course we are looking also to opportunities in Gwadar,
Yes.
when it will be available. But along with this, of course, we use railroads which are coming via our neighboring countries like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, further to Russia, and then to other countries. And we are very well connected with our neighbors, and even with Pakistan.
Yes, to our audience, let me also mention over here that Tajikistan is one of those countries that since last 30 years they have done away with all their border disputes with Uzbekistan. And can you tell us about that? How did that happen? Because this is a very unique thing that you solved all the border issues with Uzbekistan in a very peaceful way. And as of what I know now, that you have more than 9 or 10 crossing places with Uzbekistan.
I think the main role, I'm not going to mention especially role of my profession, but I think diplomacy was the main reason how we were able to do it. Of course, the main part of this job was done by experts on land, by experts on geography, cartography, and then mapping and whatever. But our job as a diplomat was to bring people together, to put them around the table and to negotiate for 5 years, 10 years, and now we have these results.
And let me also mention to our audience over here, because most of the young people would be listening to this show, that His Excellency Imam Ali Rahmanov, who's the president of Tajikistan. He's one of the oldest leaders in this region, and he now acts as a father figure for all the countries, and he always tries to bring the countries together. And even before, during this Afghan conflict also, and after 15th of August 2021, once the Taliban government came in Afghanistan, so it was the Tajik president who took lots of initiatives. So being a senior in the region and being a statesman for the region, his contribution towards the regional peace are immense. So what can you tell us, Ambassador, about the vision of His Excellency Imam Ali Rahmanov on the regional security, regional peace and prosperity?
Yes, you are absolutely right to mention. My first point is that regional security cannot be only in one country. Regional security can be only collectively.
Yes.
Not only in the region but in the world. When any of country maybe considers that we can create one country very safe without involving others, I think this is a big mistake. And our president is all the time encouraging his colleagues that we should take all measures together. Afghanistan issue is a very complicated one. Afghanistan is very close to all of us. Pakistan and Tajikistan sharing the two longest borders.
Longest borders.
The longest border, and of course we have to be together. And in this regard we rely of course on Pakistan capacity, on Pakistan experience, and all together we should take measures because without peace and stability in Afghanistan there cannot be a good trade, there cannot be good connection between countries, and of course it will be a place from where we all the time will see that something will happen there and it will be threatening all our countries.
This is a very good thing which you have said, that the main aim is that of all the countries, the peace has to be in all the countries for the regional connectivity and for an overall peace and prosperity in the region. So coming back to the President's book, he has touched upon a lot on the historical perspectives of the Tajik people, that how the Tajik people, they had been going around and how they have been even fighting, doing their in 16th century or 17th century and all those things. So are now the Tajik people spread over all over the world, or you have your Tajik ethnic people in some few countries, or are they spread over all over?
I think we have people almost in all countries, maybe except some small island countries like in Central America.
Yeah.
But in European part, of course, in Asia, in other countries we have. In some countries we have bigger communities and bigger group of people, like for example in the Russian Federation, in Kazakhstan, in Uzbekistan, in our neighboring countries. People are going there for work, people are going there for kind of business. In European or Americas, we have mostly young people who are studying there, and then they are coming back to open their own enterprises and to make their own new kind of business in our country. And but of course we are not, since the overall population of Tajikistan is only 10 million, we cannot be spread it too much. Yeah.
So you just talked about that young people coming back to Tajikistan and doing business. So in Pakistan, as we know, as you must have seen, that there's a lot of young people having startups, making new kind of business. Even if they have to make a samosa, they would have a different idea. So what kind of businesses the young people do in Tajikistan?
Only one small example. Maybe 10 years ago, you hardly could find a good cafe maybe in Tajikistan, in Dushanbe. Of course, food was available all the time. But for example, to have a cafe with a good coffee, with a real, genuine coffee, now it's available everywhere. Or the kind of fast food. We don't have any McDonald's in our country, for example. But there are different kind of fast food available in our country. So young generations, they are very enthusiastic. They are, even with all difficulties available, because they are young, they don't have experience, they don't have maybe capacity, even
Or
sometimes
maybe finance.
even
Yeah.
finances. But even with this, they are doing a lot. And when you visited Dushanbe, you see that.
Yes,
how-
I have seen. Yes, I've seen this very small cafes managed by young
Yeah.
people. So while talking about the food of Tajikistan, Ambassador, can you tell us what food, what is the most liked food in Tajikistan? What is the staple food, like what people eat during for the lunch and for dinners?
Yeah. I think the meat dishes are
Meat
most
dishes,
popular.
like
yes.
Pakistan. In
Yeah, like Pakistan. Even compare if we compare with Pakistan cuisine, I think the cuisine from KPK
Yes,
is very close to
it's very
ours,
close to, yes. And like the Tajik samosa and Tajik bread. And I'm sure, do they eat rice also like we do in Pakistan?
Yes, 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 absolutely. Because one of our famous dish, which is plov,
Pulao.
without rice you cannot cook plov.
There were-
And it's popular in all Central Asia.
Yes.
And there is all the time competition which plov is better.
Which plov is better? So yeah, since I've been visiting all Central Asian countries, so everywhere you go, especially during the lunchtime, people would like to eat pulao. And what about the tea? Are the Tajik people, are they tea lovers like Pakistan, or
Yes, we are also tea lovers, but our people mostly drink green tea.
green tea?
Green tea without milk, without sugar. It's just a very strong green tea, because people consider if you eat something, oily or food, too much food, then you need a good cup of green tea.
With this green tea, and I remember one thing that since I have visited Tajikistan twice, I have not seen any kind of people going to hospitals. I visited at least 2 hospitals, and they were very, very deserted, as if they are closed. So what is the how come people are so healthy over there? What kind of routine do they adopt? Why are hospitals so empty there?
I think maybe people in Tajikistan also like to eat,
Yeah.
but probably they work more. And I think exercises are now very popular, especially among young people. And you hardly can see big people with bad health. Mostly, especially young people, they are very enthusiastic in keeping the good shape.
Yeah, that's very good because Tajikistan, although it's like any other country, they have hospitals, they have medical systems, but once I visited there, I saw that, and I happened to meet few doctors over there, and the kind of ratio they said about the heart diseases and other diseases which you have is very, very lower than any other country in the region. So I think it's not only because of the weather or anything, it's because of the daily routine of the people. So how is the rural life in Tajikistan? How is more people are oriented towards the urban life or rural life?
Of course, as in all countries in which are in transition or in development, we have this movement from rural area mostly to big cities in order to find good job. This is a kind of urbanization. But we are still an agrarian country. So 70% of our population reside in rural areas.
Rural areas.
Yes.
So mostly you would say that people would still like to live in the rural areas. So what is, how about the digitalization in Tajikistan? Is internet and mobile phone available everywhere?
Yes, I think according to my information, 95% of our territory covered by internet and mobile networks. The only maybe a very complicated high mountain areas are not covered by
Like in
mobile.
Pakistan,
Yeah,
a very
because
small area which is not covered
Yeah.
because due to high mountains and very remote areas. That is very nice that, as you were saying that you are an agriculture country, so what kind of modern agriculture techniques you are using?
In terms of irrigation, first of all, we are trying to use modern technologies because lack of water in our region is a big problem. And also erosion of land when you use too much water. One of the reasons of spoiling water land in all Central Asian countries, it was a very bad technology of irrigation. Nowadays we try to use a modern in order to save water, for example, and also to save our land.
Yeah. So, since Ambassador, we are heading towards the closing of our program. So, whenever our guests come to this program, at the end, we always ask them that since you're here in Pakistan now for 4 years, so please explain your feelings about Pakistan, about people of Pakistan, about how did you had your tenure over here.
First of all, I'm very grateful to Pakistan for hosting me here for 4 years. The second, I think the most, the excellent part of Pakistan character is hospitality. Whenever place I visited here, people all the time invite you for a cup of tea and to join them even for food. And people very open here. Doesn't matter if they are rich or if they are poor, it doesn't matter. People everywhere is very hospitable. And I think this is the best character of Pakistan. And I wish Pakistan all the best, prosperity, peaceful life, stability, and I hope how many days or months or years I will be here, I will try to serve both of our countries.
Thank you very much, sir. And I would close the program over here by telling the audience that today we had the honor to have the ambassador of Tajikistan with us. Tajikistan is a very friendly country to Pakistan, and Pakistan also values friendship of Tajikistan a lot. And I hope that in days and months and years to come, Pakistan and Tajikistan's friendship will flourish, and it should travel, and it will travel to the next generation also. So before we formally close the program, so we will again hear some parts of the song, the Tajik songs, so that before we go to the news, we'll hear the song so that you can enjoy the Tajik music again. So thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you.